Has today killed the regional delegate of Penitentiary Administration, Kiga Theodore, alongside 3 prison guards. Our sources in Bamenda say they were ambushed and shot to death in Bui Division as they headed back for their base in Bamenda. Mr. Kiga and his collaborators were in Kambe for the installation of the Kambe prison superintendent. On another sad one, 4 persons of same family have lost their lives in an accident yesterday in Puma, Sanaga Maritime Division. The accident involved a private car and a truck transporting bottled waters from Douala Mirangaket with details.
A total number of 4 persons died in this ghastly accident, all belonging to the same family. The father, mother, and 2 children lost their lives in this crashed car. The event took place yesterday in the afternoon at Puma in the Sanaga Maritime on the Douala-Yaoundé highway. A car leaving Yaoundé found itself stuck under a lorry transporting some merchandise. According to witnesses on the site, the lorry's driver lost control and brutally hit and killed the touristic car, claiming the lives of all the persons in it. While the identity of the deceased are still to be known, circulation on the corridor was temporarily halted. Policemen on the site tried to maintain order and are still yet to give their version of the story.
Until something else, the recurrence of child rape in Cameroon has become unbearable, with an urgent need for child protection and surveillance. Eileen Summer spoke with a medical practitioner seeking solutions for survivors. Her report.
Child abuse, molestation, or rape has become commonplace in today's modern society, with children of barely few months old being sexually assaulted as well. The prevalence rate of child abuse is at an alarming rate in Cameroon, involving both sexes. Dr. Bechem Tabe highlights.
So when we talk about sexual child abuse, which is rape, it is a whole spectrum which ranges from inappropriate words, inappropriate touches, to penetration of the survivor. And its prevalence is increasing these days. We see it both in females and in male children as well. And these children can be affected both physically and psychologically.
The consequences of child rape or abuse is quite detrimental to the health of the survivor, who usually contracts STDs at such tender age.
So physically, just from the act of raping, we can have bruises on the genital areas. We can have tears around the genital tract. We could also have a risk, there's also a risk of unwanted pregnancies. And these children can contract sexually transmitted infections such as HIV, such as syphilis, or chlamydia. So when we receive survivors with this, we take into consideration all of this.
Also, much psychological damage is caused to the survivor, requesting therapy and follow-up.
Psychologically, it is very important to do a step-by-step follow-up of these survivors, because there are many things which can come into play because of the rape. The main one is what we call post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a situation in which the victim plays the incident of rape over and over in their mind. They have recurrent flashbacks of what happened to them. And we could also see an avoidance character. So they would refuse to talk about anything which makes them remember or feel whatever it was that happened during the incidents. They could have sleep disorders. They can have a feeling of guilt in some of the children. They'll feel like it's their fault. They'll have a feeling of guilt, feeling filthy.
However, Dr. Bechem Tabe recommends counseling as a way forward.
It's important for us to do counseling of these patients, of these survivors, So we do counseling, we do rendezvous from time to time, and it takes a whole period of time to help them come back to ground zero. You know, children, they have the building blocks of whatever will be the adult of tomorrow. So the building blocks which are being set now, we need to fix it properly with our counseling in order for them to have a proper opinion in future.
It is worth mentioning that in Cameroon, watchdog organizations say about 40% of school-going children are sexually abused, with at least 3 out of 10 children raped on a weekly basis.
In a related story, the increased rate of battering, with majority of cases being women who in many situations end up losing their lives, is a cause for concern. To this effect, our Central Regional correspondent Colette caught up with an advocate of the girl child who frowns at the despicable act. Her report.
Domestic abuse has eaten up marriages and even relationships, and most often the man or the woman stay in such abusive relationships simply as they say they do not want their kids to feel the impact of divorce. Though most often the repercussions of domestic violence, whether on the part of the man or the woman, are different.
Not their child, is unacceptable. We need to know that when someone loves us, they show genuine concern. They don't want to harm us. They want nothing but to see that we're secure and loved. So if your spouse is beating on you today, you need to figure out how to let someone know. Go see a counselor. Go to the police.
Therefore, if you are being abused today, tell someone, because love does not hurt.
And to something else, Cameroon's Minister of Defense Joseph Betia Somo has called for a reduction of the number of checkpoints along the Douala-Maroua Highway. The order is contained in a communique addressed to the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Athanganji. Mwanze Njoyoro with details.
This decision comes after the numerous complaints about the number of checkpoints along the Douala-Maroua Highway. This communique comes out shortly after several complaints about this highway. After investigations carried out by the police, it was discovered that of the 66 control checkpoints along this highway, 39 were irregular checkpoints and 27 are regular mixed checkpoints. This, according to the Minister of Defense, slows down the circulation of vehicles, and some of these checkpoints are put in place by local authorities. To this effect, the number of checkpoints along this highway will be reduced, and also a meeting will be held in the days ahead with the heads of the regional branches of all structures involved along this highway. It should be noted that the Douala-Maroua Highway is just one of the numerous highways in which travelers face a lot of difficulty.
Now, Cameroonian filmmaker Quinter Fon has faced serious criticism for his statement about the Cameroon film industry during a movie premiere in Douala over the weekend. A statement that has sparked lots of debates on social media. The Cameroon film industry CFI issued a communique distancing itself from the outburst. Akeba tells us more in this report.
Renowned Cameroon filmmaker and actor Quinter has faced serious backlash on various social media platforms since Saturday after a movie premiere. The actor has been heavy filmmaker calling him disrespectful, arrogant and proud. The Cameroon film industry has issued a communique distancing itself from the filmmaker's expressions. On the other hand, the movie guru argued that his pronouncements on Saturday at the premiere of Bamboozler was his own way of defending the local film industry from being disrespected, not only by the Nigerian film industry, but any other foreigner. He added that, contrary to what most social media users and critics say, he is simply demonstrating a sense of patriotism. According to him, being patriotic requires one to defend the country's image by all means. Despite the heavy criticisms from several Cameroonians, many others still think the actor was simply honest with his expressions and was bold enough to defend the image of the Cameroonian film industry. According to a Facebook user, the Cameroon entertainment industry has been living with a low self-esteem over the years, and it is about time the narrative changes.
Now, the 2020-2030 year of National Development Strategy and Statistics is at the spotlight in Yaoundé as officials and stakeholders involved have in a workshop or tackled issues relating to this domain. Kalelum once again.
Its economic and social development, Cameroon adopted in 2009 a long-term development vision which aims to make Cameroon an emerging country, democratic and united in its diversity by 2035. Through this proactive vision, the government aims to achieve close to double-digit economic growth to reach the 25% threshold as the share of manufacturing production, to reduce significantly poverty by reducing its incidence to less than 10% in 2035, to consolidate the democratic process and strengthen national unity while respecting the country's diversity. It is in this regard that the 2020-2030 year of National Development Strategy and Statistics have been elaborated in Yaoundé by the officials concerned.
Is targeting to reduce poverty, improve life standards in general. You know, it is very important to have quality statistics to implement, but also to accept, to be sure that things are going the good direction. That's the main goal. This workshop aims to mobilize enough resources, financial resources and technical resources to implement the strategy that have been adopted by the government. Statistics is one of the main tools to elaborate and to implement public policies.
The action plan focused this time at seeking funding from national and international partners, which will enhance the execution of earmarked development projects in Cameroon. Worth noting, the first phase of implementation of this vision was operationalized by the Growth and Employment Strategy paper, which thus constituted the reference framework for the period 2010-2019.
In the West Region, city dwellers, especially lovers of mushrooms, have been rushing to get theirs in local markets, especially in Bafoussam. The streets are quite busy as the consumers battle to get the rare seasonal vegetable mushrooms, although still very expensive. Details right ahead.
A ton of essential vitamins and minerals, mushrooms are beginning to find its way amongst commonly consumed vegetables in the West region of Cameroon. Considering that mushrooms are seasonal and it is not everyday city dwellers find on the streets of Bafoussam and other parts of the region, they rush to get a taste of it, though still very expensive. I had a strong desire since, so I decided to come today and get some. It's something that I love so much, but it's still very expensive. A plate of mushroom is 2,500, 2,000 and 1,000 francs. Low in calories and fat, these vendors say mushrooms are readily available in the months of March and April.
Les champignons commencent toujours au mois de mai, au début des pluies. Quand les pluies commencent, c'est là où les champignons commencent aussi.
Mushrooms begin in the month of March. When it rains, mushrooms are out for a period of 2 months. We go to local markets and buy to come and sell in Bafoussam, some coming from Fumbot and others Buda.
À Buda, on parle au niveau de Galim là, on paye pour revenir sur Bafoussam vendre.
Madame Sansang, a nurse in Bafoussam, highlights the nutritional and health benefits of mushrooms.
Les champignons sont très riches, calcium, magnesium.
Mushrooms are very rich. It has calcium, magnesium, protein. It's a source of energy. Mushrooms replaces meat completely. It doesn't have cholesterol. It protects organs, including the heart.
Protecteur pour l'organisme, pour le cœur.
Because of its rich nutritional values and benefits to humans, health experts say eating mushrooms regularly can help to reduce the risk of neurological illnesses.
And our religious peace, several Muslims faithfuls in Gaundewi Adamawa region of Cameroon have left Cameroon for Saudi Arabia for their annual Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. They left the country yesterday, April 11, 2022, as Joy Gang tells us.
Over 213 Muslim faithfuls from the Adamawa region left for Garoua, where they boarded a flight for a 25-day pilgrimage in Mecca. According to the coordinator of the pilgrims, it's been 2 years since such activities were organized due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Premier, je commence par remercier Allah le Tout-Puissant qui nous a ouvert les portes.
He says, as the pilgrims make their way to the Holy Land, he can only thank Allah, who has opened the doors and allowed them to take the pilgrimage, and they are very happy. Many are the pilgrims who are headed for Garoua International Airport, and they will take off by night at about 10 p.m. Destination Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. The pilgrims on their part are anxious to fulfill this pillar of Islam, as they say it has been a long time coming. It is a great pleasure for me because I've always dreamed of this journey, and thanks to Allah, I have the opportunity to go on the pilgrimage. It's the dream of all Muslims, and it helps us also to get closer to Allah and strengthen our faith. Latecomers will have to wait to the 15th of April to join their brothers in Saudi Arabia. The Mecca pilgrimage is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, alongside the profession of faith, prayer, almsgiving, and fasting.
And to health, April 10 to April 16 is observed yearly as STD Awareness Month, set aside by the World Health Organization to raise awareness about sexually transmitted diseases and how they impact our lives, plus ways to reduce its prevalence. Bukenga Wadi with details.
Since time past, many are of the opinion that sexually transmitted infection can be acquired only through sexual intercourse by means of having multiple sexual partners. However, according to Dr. Teresa, sexually transmitted infection can affect everyone regardless of age, marital and relationship status, as well as gender.
Many of our patients believe that since they've been with the same partner for many years, they can't get a sexually transmitted infection, and therefore they don't need to get tested. Everyone can be infected with an STI, but those people at highest risk are people with multiple partners, and those whose partners have multiple partners. In reality, whether you're single or married, male or female, younger or older, you can get an STI. This is why it is important to know your partner's sexual history before you have sex without a condom.
Being a health condition caused by bacteria, viruses, and parasites, the infection have different types, which include genital herpes, pubic lice, chlamydia, syphilis, human papillomavirus, and a host of others, with symptoms that may differ from person to person depending on the type. Sexually transmitted infections are highly preventable.
If you are pregnant, your baby's at risk of being infected. For babies, infections can have severe lifelong consequences. The best way to help prevent the spread of STIs is to know your status. If you don't know your status, get tested.
Worth mentioning is the fact that the disease may be worse in some cases, like pregnancy.
Some people with chlamydia, a common STI, don't show any symptoms. But if left untreated, chlamydia can cause infertility in women and in men. The best defense against STIs is to use a condom. Other forms of birth control will not protect you against STIs. If you have any doubts, you should get tested for STIs today. We recommend that you talk openly with your partner and your doctor about your sexual history, as well as your partner's history. This conversation can be difficult, but protecting your health is most important.
Commemorating World Sexual Transmitted Infection Week, it is important for everyone to have the talk regarding sex and sexual-related issues, as well as complications, so as to help bar the way to sexual transmitted infection stigma, discrimination, as well as reduce the estimated 1 million new cases daily around the world.
And Murum Divine of Santos FC Bamenda will replace Membiga Felix as one of the 6 delegates of FECA Food from the Northwest region. He emerged winner during an extraordinary election held over the weekend in Bamenda. Northwest correspondent Charles Kibwa with details.
Murum Divine of Santos FC of Bamenda will replace Mayor Binga Nja Felix as one of the 6 delegates of FECA Food from the Northwest region. The election Saturday 9th April 2022 in Bamenda during an extraordinary General Assembly of the Northwest Regional League of FECA Food, whose one-point agenda election has as contestant Njini Benedict, President of Northwest Referee Association, Murum Divine, President of Santos FC Bamenda, and Njitefo Nelson, sports reporter and football promoter. Murum Divine emerged winner with 7 votes. Ginny Benedict 6 votes and G. Nelson Chefo 5 votes, all out of 18 votes. They tied one winning. Murum Divine, happy with those who had confidence in him and believed he could represent the region at the national level, promised to work together with all stakeholders in the region for the growth of the game.
As I said during the brief campaign speech which I had before the elections, I think the region is lacking in terms of development of football, and I talked about the coaching department. I talked about the presence of Northwest footballers in different national selections, both female and male. Those are some of the things which I'm going to be pushing for at the General Assembly, and that I'm going to be working with the DTN to see that the Northwest also has a representation in that domain.
Murum Divine replaces Mayor Mbinganja Felix, who tabled his resignation as delegate following the status of the football governing body as delegate for the Northwest to represent the region at the FECA Food General Assembly, Samuel Etofield's led executive committee, with PWD Social Football Club of Bamenda and Young Sports Academy, all of Bamenda doing well in their various polls. In the ongoing MTN Elite 1 football season in Cameroon, there are need for infrastructure to develop the game in the Northwest region.
We've come to the end of today's edition of